Recently, Foxconn's Zhengzhou plant is said to be deserted, with empty commercial areas, leading to speculation that the company had absconded. There are also rumors that Foxconn's Shenzhen plant is dismantling its production lines. What exactly happened to Foxconn? Is it really going to collapse? And it's not just Foxconn. Factories in Suzhou, Kunshan, and Dongguan have also been rumored this year to be not hiring new employees and even laying off older workers. In Baishazhou Industrial Park in Hengyang, Hunan Province, Foxconn's subsidiary Hon Hai Precision Industry, once brightly lit and bustling with activity, officially ceased production on September 30th this year, citing insufficient future orders to support operations. This manufacturing giant once employed 30,000 people and had an annual output value of 2.8 billion. Outsiders see its shutdown as a signal of Foxconn's further contraction of its industrial footprint in central China. This decision is not an isolated case, but rather a microcosm of foreign companies withdrawing from China. From Nanning to Hengyang, from Dongguan to Kunshan, a wave of factory closures is quietly spreading. The world's factory, once the backbone of China's export miracle, is facing a profound structural upheaval. Because of the reasonable workload and high wages on electronics factory assembly lines, many young people are willing to choose Taiwanese-owned companies like Foxconn and Quanta Computer. Some netizens say that Foxconn never delays wage payments and that overtime is paid. Besides Foxconn, over 90% of factories are black-hearted factories and garbage factories. If you're absent for 1 day, they'll deduct 3 days' wages. If you resign, they won't approve it. They'll make you leave on your own, and you won't get a single penny of your salary. These things don't exist at Foxconn. Resignations are approved instantly, and leaving on your own won't deduct your salary. You won't lose a single penny. Brothers, there are so many people. Look how far the queue is. My goodness, there are at least 10,000 people today. There are people over there too. More are brought over. Luckily, I arrived early and moved quickly, guys. Look where the line is. Oh my god, look where the line is. It's this far. Let me show you. This is our Foxconn dormitory. We moved dorms today from the 4th floor to the 16th floor, exhausted. We moved to this room, which has air conditioning, a water heater, a balcony, and an elevator. From the 4th floor to the 16th floor, there's also a kitchen here. It's about a 10-minute walk to the factory gate. Foxconn not only moved out of Hengyang, Hunan, but also left Zhengzhou, Hunan Province last year, relocating to Vietnam and India and taking 320,000 jobs with it. The commercial pedestrian street in Zhengzhou Port New area lost its former glory. Previously bustling with activity due to Foxconn's presence, it now sees surrounding shops largely closed. Foxconn once accounted for over 80% of Zhengzhou's total exports and over 50% of Hunan Province's total exports, making it a pillar enterprise for local exports. After Foxconn's withdrawal from Zhengzhou in the first quarter of 2024, Hunan's mobile phone exports plummeted by 60% year-on-year, a precipitous drop. As a result, Zhengzhou's overall exports fell by 40%, and Hunan Province's total imports and exports declined by 23%, resulting in a loss of its status as the leading foreign trade province in central China. Foxconn in Zhengzhou once employed hundreds of thousands of workers. Where are they now? One netizen posted that he lost his job after returning from Foxconn and is now delivering food. This is the Foxconn Shajing plant in Nanning, established in 2012 by Taiwanese businessman Terry Gao. It covers an area of 2,000 acres and costs $880 million. This factory, built with $1 million investment, was probably the largest in Guangxi province in terms of workforce. At its peak, it employed over 20,000 people, consuming an average of 3.5 tons of rice, over 30 pigs, 2.6 tons of vegetables, and over 60,000 eggs daily. Its main business was manufacturing for Apple. In recent years, due to strategic adjustments at Foxconn, its operations have shifted to Vietnam, India, and other locations. Now, fewer than 20 people remain here. It's tough, brothers. I wanted to come to Foxconn to screw, but Foxconn isn't even open anymore. There are no screws to screw in Nanning. I used to walk this road so many times. Let me show you what it's like now. Everyone at Foxconn should be familiar with this gate. This is the direction back to the dormitory. You see, this place used to be worn smooth. Now it's rusted. What? Is the cattle and horse baby about to be laid off? Come on guys, let me show you. I'm currently in the CAA department at Foxconn in Wuhan. All the machines in the workshops are being moved out, and half of them have already been moved. These machines are all being moved to Foxconn in Guangzhou City, which means my department at CAA in Wuhan will be dissolved. It's estimated that it will take at most a month to complete the move and cleanup. The blogger said, "This means I'll be unemployed in at most a month. I've worked here for almost 5 years, and suddenly I'm told I'll be unemployed and have to leave. What should I do next?" Foxconn's withdrawal on the surface is due to the decrease in orders, but in reality it's a restructuring of the global supply chain. Countries like India and Vietnam are attracting manufacturing relocation with tax incentives, policy support, and cheap labor, while foreign companies like Foxconn in China have multiple pressures from rising costs and uncertainty of Chinese government policies. Affected by the US-China trade war, Apple accelerated the relocation of its production lines, and Foxconn, as its core contract manufacturer, followed suit. This shift has gradually caused central and southeastern coastal China to lose its original manufacturing advantages. The closure of Hon Hai Precision Industry Company Limited in Hengyang directly affected thousands of employees. Although the company offered job reassignment or compensation, starting over is not easy for many older workers. Mr. Pei, who works in mechanical repair, frankly stated, "The compensation can only alleviate short-term pressure, but my future livelihood and my children's education are still a concern. I'm old, starting over in Shenzhen or Huizhou is unrealistic, and I can't find suitable work in Hengyang." Labor agencies in Hengyang are also feeling the chill. A real estate agent stated, "The problem isn't that factories can't find workers, but rather that there are too many workers and too few positions. Even large factories like Foxconn are struggling to survive, let alone small and medium-sized enterprises." This year is truly the most difficult year, affected by the international environment. Toshiba urgently withdrew 33 companies from China, resulting in 400,000 job losses. 600,000 people in Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Dongguan, Guangdong are unemployed, and even Apple's contract manufacturers are receiving no orders. Remember last year when Gore-Tex lost 20,000 people overnight? 4.6 million factories nationwide are without orders, and cries of despair filled the air. China's biggest wave of unemployment has arrived. This blogger worked at Microsoft for over 8 years and was a senior employee who recently experienced layoffs. This was my last day at Microsoft. On the morning of July 4th, we received the layoff notice. It was a team meeting with hundreds of people, where a cold text read aloud by AI announced the cruel reality. "Your position is terminated, not due to performance or any other personal reason, but due to adjustments in company strategy." Ironically, at the end of the meeting, the AI even kindly reminded us that we didn't have to work today and could take a good rest. The blogger stated that there were signs of this layoff. As early as 2 years ago, the Microsoft CSS team almost stopped opening new positions in China, and the positions of departing employees were not filled in China, but instead shifted to Japan and Australia. He vaguely sensed at the time that Microsoft might be gradually reducing its investment in China. He originally thought that headquarters would wait until the team's employees naturally left and the team shrank before making a unified layoff. Still, he didn't expect the layoffs to come so quickly. In this round of layoffs, some teams were cut by half, some by as much as 75%, while his team was completely wiped out, including the manager. The blogger speculates that this might be because their business mainly involved certification, which gave them easy access to information from American clients, leading to the overall layoff. After receiving the layoff notice, many colleagues immediately started looking for new jobs, while he planned to take a break and try something new in his field.
On
New Year's Day, I took a taxi to the airport. The driver chatted with me on the way, and it turned out he used to be a manager at a foreign company. He was probably 46, 47 years old and had worked at the foreign company for nearly 20 years, always doing quite well. However, things didn't go well for him at the foreign company a few years ago, so he was forced to leave. But as a 46 to 47-year-old, after working at a foreign company for so many years, it's actually very difficult to find a job in China after leaving. So he tried some large internet companies and some traditional industries, but no one really wanted someone 46 to 47 years old. He didn't hold a particularly high position at the foreign company, just a manager, leading a small team, and his English is fluent. The blogger said that during the conversation with the driver, he sensed the driver's deep despair. This longtime employee who previously worked for a foreign company frankly admitted his regret. Over a decade ago, many of his colleagues left foreign companies to join Chinese firms, realizing the limited career advancement opportunities in foreign companies in China. Now, some of them have risen to director or even VP positions. He chose to stay, unexpectedly remaining there for 20 years until he was laid off this year. Finding a job now is extremely difficult. He said he's too old to take risks, has no plans to start a business, and with elderly parents and young children to support, the pressure is immense, leaving him feeling somewhat hopeless about life. Recently, my friends who came to Shanghai with me to work have gradually left. 10 years ago, when we came to Shanghai together, we were all very ambitious, thinking we could make a name for ourselves in this city. In 2013, it felt like Shanghai was a gold mine. As long as you wanted to make money and worked hard, nothing was impossible. Back then, we would get together every week for dinner and chat, dreaming about what kind of life we would have in the next few years. We believed life would definitely get better and better, and we would definitely stay in this city. The blogger laments that as time went by, the pace of their friends gradually diverged. Some encountered career bottlenecks, were laid off, and left Shanghai. Some went to other places for love and are now full-time housewives on the other side of the world. The blogger said, "Most of my friends initially did quite well, but in the last 2 years, life has become increasingly difficult. Some are burdened with heavy mortgage payments while supporting their entire teams." At this year's gathering, the conversations had noticeably changed. In the past, there were enthusiastic discussions about various future possibilities. Now, the focus was solely on maintaining a stable livelihood. The golden age of opportunity is over. Those of us working for foreign companies were fortunate enough to have benefited from some of the era's dividends. But young people today are not so lucky, as finding a job has become extremely difficult. In comparison, we are already very lucky and should truly be content. You've all seen the news, right? A large foreign company with tens of thousands of employees has suddenly disappeared. Tianhong Technology in Songshan Lake, Dongguan officially announced its dissolution on July 1st, terminating the employment contracts of all employees. The long-established foreign IT company, founded in 2004, was once incredibly successful, ranking among the top 10 globally, and its benefits were renowned in the industry. This is the kind of company many working people dream of. Even more remarkable is their consistent commitment to hiring people with disabilities, earning them an excellent reputation in the industry. What's most admirable is that even on the verge of dissolution, the company treated its employees with dignity, paying out the full N+3 severance package. I never expected even Starbucks to withdraw from China. I heard they're laying off 900 people in North America, closing hundreds of stores, and allocating $150 million for employee severance. It's rumored that they might sell their entire China business by the end of October, closing 7,828 stores. It's not just Starbucks. Foreign companies across various industries are quietly withdrawing from the Chinese market. For example, in the financial industry in September of this year, Citibank, one of the largest banks in the US, withdrew from the Chinese market, terminating its entire personal banking business in mainland China. In the technology industry in September of this year, Nvidia, the world's largest AI chip company, also completely withdrew from the Chinese market due to export controls on high-end AI chips. The large-scale withdrawal of foreign investment to India and Vietnam will inevitably lead to massive unemployment in China. The impact on employment is a foregone conclusion. Some experts are blindly claiming there will be no impact, which is truly self-deception. The extent of the impact depends on how well the domestic economy absorbs it. In fact, foreign investment contributes far more to China's economy than we imagine. They support 1/5 of the nation's R&D investment, 1/4 of our industrial output, and 1/3 of the foreign trade. Therefore, those foreign companies that have been taken away are not only taking away investment, but also factories, R&D institutions, and supply chain systems, all of which are jobs that can generate income. We are not only taking away competitors, but also the potential for our own future development. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.